I was thinking of the soldiers that were coming up, running up on that beach. And looking at it, being on the beach, I realized why we chose that beach. Because although it was sand, it was packed, it would pack. You could run I'm not saying it didn't sink into a point, but they were able to take track machines and every trucks and so forth across that sand, which they couldn't do. They did a lot of, what I understand, a lot of research on where to make that landing, and that was the best that they could come up with. But that's what I was thinking of, the soldiers coming across that beach on a miserable day.
Yeah.
And doing what they did. Yeah, they got held up for a bit, but then they finally broke loose and went inland. Of course, with Utah Beach, that was a little different story, because the tide took them about a mile away from where they were supposed to land, which was a blessing, because it was so much better. So much better, and they had a lot less casualties, and they were able to make better time. But I think our First Army had the tough beach. Omaha Beach was the tough beach, because behind them were the walls and or hills, or whatever you want to call it. Now, my understanding, we didn't see any, but I'm understanding in some of those woods back there, there's still, what do you call them?
Bunkers.
I can't think of the name now.
Was it bunkers?
Pillboxes, so forth. Mm-hmm. I didn't see any, but I understand that they are in there. Yeah. So, when you worked in the hospital, taking care of the patients, you worked a 12-hour shift, 8 in the morning till 8 at night, or 8 at night till 8 in the morning. I went to work on December the 15th at 8 o'clock at night. At 5:30 in the morning, the nurse and myself and some other people were getting things ready for the patients. They were beginning to wake up. Breakfast and medications and so forth. And the Germans, we heard this coming over, this whistling sound coming, but it was strange. It wasn't like ours. They landed, a shell landed, not in our courtyard, but the courtyard next to us. It didn't do any damage to our building at all. No windows, nothing. Because we were all, had windows, but at the windows we had GI blankets. So we went on doing what we had to do. I didn't know what was going on. Neither did the nurse. So I went home at 8 o'clock. I had my breakfast and went back to bed or did what I had to do. I got up, went back to work at 8 o'clock at night. I walk into my ward and there's 3 nurses standing there. Why? We only had 1 nurse at nighttime. Well, at 11:30 that night, the Germans came over and lit outside of that, there was a big field. We had a big Red Cross out there. They knew we were there. The Germans came over. Some brilliant, intelligent Army officer put an ordnance depot 200 yards from the hospital. Well, the Germans came over and lit everything up at me at 11:30, and then they started dropping bombs. I was getting ready to walk out of my ward down to the hall. There was a big hall as you walk all the way around that building. I was right in the doorway when the bombs hit, and the windows shattered. By luck, the blankets stopped it. Somehow, a few pieces came bad, but nobody got hurt. It was plaster off the walls, sprung doors, knocked doors off the hinges, did that damage, but no one got hurt. No, and we had to. Somebody said, "Were you scared?" No, I was terrified. waiting to see if the Germans were going to come marching down the hall. But we had to work. We had to do what a job. And so we had to move patients. We moved them down to the cellar.